church record keeper 2025, and what I've done here is I've made a 2025 version, and if you want to make a 2026 version, you just copy and paste it, and then you have to be able and then put 2026. Okay, and the reason why I say this is simply because for each tax year I make a new version of it um, for and keep all of the records for 2024 in the 2024 version. The 2025 records I keep in the 2025 version. So there are a lot less records to look at when you're looking at just the program itself. And then you can go back to each year. Okay. Now this is in Microsoft Access here, database, and so for let me just go into the properties here. This is Microsoft Access, and what you need to do is if you don't have access, you need to get access. If you have Word, you're going to need Microsoft Word, Excel, all those different things. Okay, you're going to have that. This record keeper won't function without it. You can get Microsoft Access runtime if you need to use it. So let's go ahead and open it up. Here, there's some import-export features. You can export this entire database to Excel, or import from a previous database from Excel. So let's just say that I update Church Record Keeper to 2.3 or whatever, or 2.2, and it's a different thing, but in order for me to use that, I have to, in order for me to get from one database to another, I'm going to have to export everything to Excel and then import it from that file to the new database. So I haven't updated this in a long time because it's functioned well for me. Okay. So go here to open church form, okay, information, put your church name, all the different information that you have for your church. Okay. Mailing address for your church can be different from your physical address. Deacons, board contacts, trustees. Okay, any trustees you might have. I have this so you can have a report so that if you ever want to contact them, this is your preview report. You can contact them, and it'll give you all of their information right there. Okay. This is save, duplicate, and then you can look at all these different functions here. Delete, you can delete this and make a new one. Okay. And then close. Close brings it to the splash page. This is to close the entire program. Okay, you can do this, but this will close the entire program. Contacts, your contact information sheet. I'll just, the address that they have can be different from their mailing address. And then you can tell whether or not they're a member or a visitor or non-visitor. Okay, just people that you've met, different contacts. If they're in a different class, okay, if they're adult Sunday school, regular, whatever. If they come just on Sunday mornings, you can put that there. If they've joined your church, and the day they joined, if they're a Sunday school member, or if they're a teacher, okay. You can put any notes, children they might have, birthdays, the children's birthdays, contact information, when you contacted them, what you last talked to them about, whatever. Birthdays, anniversaries. Okay, these are adult. This is an adult person contact. Okay. Um, there's a lot of different functions here, and I can help you with that if you need them. But there's a prayer request form if you want to make prayer requests and print out a sheet for prayer requests. You can do that. Here, if you make a prayer request, the person requesting it, they updates any updates to that prayer request. And then here, new blank record, you can make a brand new one, okay? And then printing out, it'll bring it up in a list view, okay? And so you can hand out the prayer request sheet if that's what you want to use it for. Prospects, if you have people that you're going to go visit, you can bring up the prospects form. There's a lot of different functions in here that you can use. You just experiment with it. Vendors, these are all the vendors that you use. You can put all their information in, so you can call them, contact them. If you have plumbers, whatever, you can have all your vendors in here. And if they are not an incorporation, you're going to need to know if you're going to have them send them a 1099 or anything. So you kind of have to have this information. Okay. Your ministries. So this is our missionary. When we start supporting them, okay, who the missionary is, their support address, mission agencies support, phone, their website, all the information, how much you support them for, if they have any children, okay, their sending church, all those different things that you might need for a missionary, okay. Missionary letters, if they give you a letter, you can put that in here to archive it, okay, just add it from wherever you're adding it from, okay, and it'll show up here, and you'll have all their different missionary letters that they've sent, okay. Vacation Bible School. So this is just something, if you have a Vacation Bible School, you're going to want to do each day, you're going to want to do this for each child. So it's a little tedious, but it'll help you keep good records, because sometimes children don't come every day. Okay, and so you might have one child coming every day, but then one child comes for like 1 or 2 days. So you're going to want to do this each day. And so if you need, this is just something I think you could probably update, just for maybe for the next year as well, because you can try to invite them back for next year. This will help you, okay? This is your checking ledger. This is probably going to be the one you use most. Make sure that for the account you put in who gave to you, okay? Make sure that it's spelled exactly the same exact way each time, okay? If you're unsure about how to do that, just copy and paste it from a previous record. If it's a couple that gives, make sure again it's always spelled exactly the same way each time, because when it comes up in your giving report right here, you want to list it. It's going to be under the same heading. Okay, so if you're unsure about how to spell something, then just go back to a previous record and just copy and paste. If you are spending money at a store, put down the store that you're spending it. Okay. If you give money to somebody for benevolence, put down the name of the person. Okay. The date, I try to match it up with what's on the bank records as much as possible. The receipt, but also, okay. Here you can put the check number of who's giving you the check, or if you are writing a check to somebody, okay, you can put the check number. Okay. Also, check here. If it's cash, just put cash, okay? Also, and just put it in the same each way. If it's ACH online, if it's an online purchase, you do that, or if you use the credit card, the debit card, okay? And so what you do is if you spend money, put in debit. If you've received cash, put in cash. If you any money you receive, put here. Any money you spend, put here. Always make sure it says 0 on here. If you spend money, $236, make sure it stays 0 here, okay? If you receive money, okay, then it's 0 here, okay? You have to make sure it's that way. Remarks, you can put in any notes about what it is. And then here, if you spend money on church supplies or Bibles or whatever, just put it down and it'll show up here, okay? Now, if you need to add some things to that, okay, what you do is you go down here to chart of accounts and you can add whatever you need, okay? Your balance will automatically calculate right down here, okay? And what I do is I do for the initial program for each year is I will put balance carryover from previous year, okay, and then I'll put the entire balance, okay. Now let's say that's the entire balance. So I'd have the date January. It would be January 1st, okay. And then I'll just put cash, whatever. Remarks, you know, from previous year, okay. I'll also have a bank statement. You can put a bank statement here if you want to. Okay. There's for each record you can put different things, whatever's for that record. So you can put deposit slips, receipts, anything in here. Okay. And then you can, when you reconcile it, just press that, and it'll show up on the report as being reconciled. So when you've done your initial balance for that year, just put new record, okay, and your balance will be right down here, automatic, and then just type in your new ledger line, okay. It shows up here, shows up right here, balance carryover. Each record will show, if somebody gave, it'll show up like their names would be right here. If you spent money, like to Walmart will be right here, okay, for each page. So it'll tell you how many pages there are, and you just look at each page, and you can print out the entire thing. And actually, it's helpful to check. You can check if everybody's names are spelled right, all that stuff. Yeah, I check it regularly. Okay. Group report. Try to get to it here. Group report is a ledger report, and it'll give you like if there are any other line items. If I spent money in Walmart, it'll give me all the Walmart ones. So if there's 5 different times I spent money at Walmart, it'll give me all 5 times, and it'll tell me how much I spent right here. If so-and-so gave money throughout the year, each month, each line item that they gave will be shown, and it'll tell you how much they gave, okay? So there's different reports here that you can experiment with, but just wanted to show you that. There's also a budget one. What you do is you put the calendar year, so for budget for 2026, amount spent previous year, this is how much was spent, and you can look at your reports. Okay. And then what you do is for each line item, you're going to type in what your budget item is. So my budget item for this year for business corporate, okay, or sometimes it's an annual amount, okay. Gas maintenance, I'm going to spend $136 a month average, okay. You look at your average you spent and you just type that in. Amount of income you received, this is how much you might expect for the coming year. So let's just say you're expecting that much for the whole year, and you're expecting this much to spend. Okay, so you do all this information, and then you type in your budget. You go into your budget report, and then it'll give you a report on what to expect. Okay. You have different ledgers here, savings. Same concept, just a different, it just looks a little different. Okay. This was a travel expense savings account that I had. You may not have that. But again, everything is always calculated for you once you do a record. Okay. Just experiment with that. Again, you can put attachments. I like to put all the statements there, the receipts, the deposit slips, all those things. I scan it into my computer and I keep those things. Okay. So that's a basic overview of how to use the program. Please let me know if you have any questions and I'll be happy to help you.